Hello everyone. As we already know, first aid care can potentially save a patient's life even before coming to hospital. I am Dr. Reshma and with me is Dr. Srinath Kumar TS. He is a senior consultant and HOD from Narayana Ridalaya. We are here to answer some common first aid care in some common emergencies. Hello sir.
Hi. Hi, Dr. Reshma.
Hello sir. Sir, first of all, can you enlighten us on what is first aid care?
Yeah. So, as we all know, any patient who is in a severe illness, sudden severe illness, or an injury will be requiring some kind of a care where the person who is called as a first responder will be giving the immediate care which can save at that particular moment.
So, who is a first responder?
The first responder is a person who sees the victim where he is having an injury or a severe illness.
Okay. So now we have that clear. So can we talk about some common emergencies?
Surely.
Okay. So my first question is, what should a person do when other person is having fits?
So, fit is nothing but it's also called in medical terminology seizures. So, whenever you see such a person, you just have to clear all the sharp objects from that particular person and then see that you turn this particular person to one particular side, that is preferably onto the left lateral position.
Okay.
And most of the time, 95 to 98% of the time, they may not require any kind of an aid. Only 2% of the patients may require hospitalization. But meantime, you call to the nearest ambulance so that they will bring the patient to the emergency department.
So what about giving keys or putting something into their mouth?
So giving keys, again, what happens is they will have a jerky movement. They can hit you. And also we have received a lot of patients who come back with such injuries so that they have a sharp object injury and then the person who is trying to save the life of him has come back with an injury. So please don't give any kind of a sharp objects, and giving a cloth into the mouth, again, it is also dangerous. That is the reason why you turn the patient to one side so that whatever the saliva is there will be coming out.
Okay. So what about in dog bites, sir? What to do in that case?
So, very important question. So, dog bites are becoming a menace these days. So, the first and foremost important thing is alleviate his fear. Try to wash with plain water, okay, and then bring the patient to the nearest hospital where, if it is, we grade the injury and we see. If required, we can give them immunoglobulin, which wherein half of the dose can be given at the site of the dog bite and the other half will be given at an other site. That is what is the immunoglobulin.
Okay. Okay, sir. So regarding snake bite, we see in movies a lot of times heroes will bite the, cut the wound or suck the venom from the heroine, or the heroine takes the shawl and ties around his limb very tightly. Are we supposed to do all these things, sir?
No, you are not supposed to do it.
Then what are we supposed to do in snake bite?
The first thing is, again, that not all snake bites are venomous. Only a few bites are venomous.
Okay.
First thing is, we have to give them sufficient care. You cannot, there is a fear with the patient or the victim. So when there is a fear, the heart rate jumps up. When the heart rate jumps up, the venom can be going in and out. That is the most problematic.
Okay.
When you suck, when the people watch movies or thing and they suck the wound, what happens is, we have seen that these people come back to the emergency department with snake bite symptoms. So you better make them lie down, calm them, call to the ambulance, because there is an anti-snake venom which has to be given to the patients or the victims.
Okay. What about tying the wound, above the wound, sir?
Yeah, tying above the wound, if it is only away, maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes away from the hospital. So then you can tie it and make it at least one finger which goes in free. Otherwise, what happens is, when you tie it tightly, that particular blood supply will be stopped. That particular limb, the blood supply is stopped. So then the whole limb will become necrotized
Oh.
and then he may lose the limb. So that is not our idea. That's the reason why you are not supposed to tie it very tightly.
So movies have been miseducating us regarding this.
Yes.
Okay. So regarding chest pain, so many elderly complain of chest pain. It can be scary for people
Yeah.
around them. So what should they do in this case?
So most of the people, elderly people can have 1 or 2 episodes of chest pain. So the first thing is make them sit down, allow the air to go around, and then ask them whether the patient already has an heart attack or a myocardial infarction, which we tell in medical terminology. Call up to the nearest hospital or the ambulance services. Meantime, you can always ask whether he is taking a tablet called as sorbitrate, which can be kept sublingually just below the tongue. So that will reduce the pain. And second thing is a small blood thinner called as aspirin. You can give that tablet.
Okay. Okay. So Diwali is coming near.
Yeah.
So it means bursting crackers.
Yes.
So what should one do if a fire spark enters their eye?
Good question. So we see a lot of cracker injuries or fire injuries, mainly to the eyes. We all know that once the firecracker enters the eyes, there is a high chance of losing the eyesight. So it's better to take them near the tap water, clean it with it, and bring the patient to the nearest hospital. So wherein we'll observe, see the eyes, and then give them the proper treatment. That is what is the treatment.
What about rubbing the eyes and squeezing the eyes very tight?
You're not supposed to.
Okay.
Because when you rub the eyes or squeeze the eyes, what happens is the burn effect will be more
Okay. So it will cause more injury.
injury.
Okay. And what about other fire accidents?
So most of the time what happens is whenever there is a fire, we try to go from the front and try to catch them. That is a wrong motion. You always have to go from behind, take a cotton cloth or a bed sheet, put it from top to bottom and roll him onto the floor. And then whatever water is available, pour it off, and then once it has been, you feel that the fire has gone away, then you can pull back the bed sheet.
Okay. Okay. So an asthma patient usually knows how to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
But if they are having a very severe asthma attack, how can their near and dear ones help?
Yeah. So these days we see that a lot of patients, because of the pollution, a lot of patients have a exacerbation of the asthma wherever they're in a public place, say in a bus stand or a railway station. But if you see that one, they will usually have something called as a nebulizer in their pocket. Just check them whether they're having that nebulizer. Then the best way is they can't take the inhaler or nebulization at that particular moment. There are a lot of plastic covers. You can just open a plastic cover, put 2 or 3 puffs into it and get near to the face. Don't close the face totally, just get it near to the face so that once he breathes and breathes out, there is something called as bronchodilation. So then the asthma will come down by itself.
Okay. So if someone is bleeding from their nose, how can we help them?
It's very common in a season, especially in a summer season, or if there are elderlies with hypertension, known hypertension. So first thing is, again, make them sit straight, see whether it is an active bleeding, then tell them what you're going to do. That's very, very important because you have to go from behind, hold the nostrils just below the bony part very tightly. And usually the bleeding time is 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
So compress it for 3 to 5 minutes and then you can see whether there is a bleeding again. If there is a bleeding again, you can continue for the next 3 to 5 minutes. But most important is you have to ask them to breathe from mouth.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they don't breathe from mouth. We know what is the consequences.
Yes, correct. So what if someone is choking on their food? What can we do?
So a lot of parties keep happening.
Yes.
Yes. So parties keep happening and a lot of non-veg food is available these days.
Yes.
So
And alcohol.
alcohol. It's a very dangerous combination. We all know that.
Yes.
So when they are trying to gulp in some hard food or a fish, sometimes what happens is it gets choked. It's called as choking.
Okay.
So immediately the person will exhibit saying that he will hold his neck tightly and say, he cannot be speaking or breathing. So at that particular moment, please don't do any heroics. Go near to him and ask a few questions. Are you okay? If the person is answering, that's well and good. If he is not answering, that means that he is having a real problem. That means that your intervention is required. There's something called as Heimlich's maneuver, which can be done.
So how do we do this Heimlich's maneuver?
It's an easy procedure.
Okay.
You just have to explaining first. Anytime any first aid is given, please ask the first responder to explain the victim what you are going to do. So the first responder has to go from behind, ask him to stretch his legs and keep one of his legs in between, and then make a fist like this and hold it near the umbilical region.
Okay.
And then just bend the victim a little bit and then press along with the umbilicus inside and out, so that it gives a negative pressure on the thorax,
Okay.
and which helps the foreign body to come out.
Okay. So how many times are we going to do this truss?
So you can do 3 to 5 times,
Okay.
see whether the foreign body is coming out. Sometimes what happens is it would have been lodged in the mouth also.
Okay.
Then you have to make like your finger like a ice cube. That is, you have to go along the foreign body, make like a ice cream, which you can see how the ice
Yes,
creams has
yes,
been taken
yes.
out. In the same way, you have to go along the foreign body and take it out.
Okay.
If not, what happens is many a times we see they put the finger onto the foreign body and they try to push it back. That is very dangerous.
Okay. So what if they become unconscious?
Unconscious is again a sign that he is unable to breathe properly. So make him lie down.
Okay.
Lie down, check for the pulse.
Okay.
Okay. So you may ask me, where to check for the pulse? Many a times what happens is, we all know that there is a pulse here which they feel.
Yeah.
Many lay people, when they go to the hospital,
And movies also.
movies also.
Yeah.
So that is the first one to go off. But the last one to go is something called as a central pulse or a carotid pulse.
Okay.
If you feel here, this is the trachea, just go laterally
Okay.
and then you will feel a groove.
Yes.
Then if you press, don't press both the sides. It's again very dangerous.
Okay.
So you have to press only on one side.
Okay.
And then if you feel the pulse within 10 seconds,
Okay.
then immediately you can say that the patient is still having a pulse and is not gone into cardiac arrest.
Okay.
Then that means that you should give only something called as abdominal thrust. So you're making the person lie down. So you have to hold on to the umbilicus like this,
Okay.
make a fist like this, and then press it and press forward.
Okay.
So when you do this, what happens is it's again creating a negative pressure into the thorax, and the foreign body will come out.
So we are doing the same thing.
Same.
Inside and upwards.
Upwards.
Okay. So what about in children, in babies? Especially?
Babies, yes. Infants are the one who is more vulnerable for such things,
Okay.
because they'll take anything which they find and they gulp it inside.
Yes.
Especially the seeds
Yes.
or the coins
Oh, yes.
or groundnut seeds.
Yes.
These are the common things which are present in every household.
Yeah.
And the mother becomes very scary. So they bring them to the hospital. So you can teach them in the public places. Maybe such videos will be helpful for them. So first thing is, again, make sure that the mother is calm.
Yes.
Because if the mother is not calm, the baby will cry more. Because her support is very, very important here.
Yes.
Okay. So then there is something called as 5 back slaps
Okay.
and 5 chest slaps.
Okay.
So these two can help to bring out the foreign body.
Okay. So we all know that early CPR can save a patient's life.
Yes,
So can you tell us how can we give CPR?
that's another very important thing, because it's already proved in many Western worlds, early CPR has early outcome and you can save a patient. That is what is the motto. for all of us.
Yes.
So when we teach them, each one should teach one to save more lives.
Yes.
So how do you do this? You do by giving CPR in a proper way. So you make your fist like this, the shoulder, elbow and the wrist
Okay.
should be in straight line.
Okay.
Your movement should come only through the fist here. So when you give the compression
Okay.
with this part
Okay.
onto the sternum,
Okay.
that is the hardest bone on the chest.
Okay.
Okay, in the intermammary line.
Okay.
Okay, and when you give this compressions, that speed should be at least 100 to 120. Why should you give 100 to 120 speed? Because our heart rate per minute is between 80 to 90 per minute.
Okay.
That is the reason why your speed should be at least 100 to 120.
Okay.
So when you compress like that, so that means that you are trying to revive the heart.
Okay.
That is very, very important. These days, because of pandemic, we don't teach them on the mouth-to-mouth respiration.
Okay.
We just teach them how to give the CPR.
Okay.
So, but how long can you give a person CPR?
Until the emergency help arrives?
Yes, very good. Because for everything in an emergency situation, you're supposed to activate emergency medical services or the ambulance.
Yes.
And do you know the ambulance number?
No, sir.
Okay, it is 108 in Karnataka. So when you call them, they will come. Or
Okay.
you can always call us on Narayana Health at 97384 97384. That is our emergency number.
Okay. So I'll make sure I'll put it in my contact list.
Sure.
Thank you, sir, for that.
Thank you.
Okay. So what is AED, sir?
AED is another special equipped device. When you come to any hospital, you would see there is a medication trolley. Above it, you see a defibrillator, wherein many people don't know, or many times you may not be using it. In the same way, this specialized equipment is kept in many public places like airport, railway station, bus stands, and here now in some of the public places.
Yes.
So they have kept it, and that can be used whenever the patient is having something called as a cardiac arrest. You know about the CPR now, I have told you.
Yes.
So this is useful in this particular situation.
So how can we use this AED, sir?
It's a very simple technique,
Okay.
because many a times we don't know, we are panicked, we want to do something.
Yes.
But in that panicky situation, we will not be knowing what to do. So the AED, when you switch it on, it itself will say the commands.
Okay.
There are 4 commands basically.
Okay.
The first one is when you switch it on, it will say what next you have to do.
Okay.
The next procedure is it will have 2 paddles.
Okay.
The paddles are being placed. There is a sign mark where you have to place it.
Okay.
One onto the sternum
Okay.
and other one near the apex, that is on the 5th intercostal space, like this.
Okay.
And then there is a button where you can put it into the AED machine.
Okay.
Okay, then once you put it into the AED, that switchboard, then it will say, it will analyze the rhythm, because there are 2 types of rhythms where a patient requires a shock or doesn't require a shock.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so the machine itself will say stop CPR because it is analyzing the rhythm. Only then you have to stop, otherwise please don't stop.
Okay.
Each and every compression is important to the patient.
Yes.
So once it analyzes the rhythm, it will say whether you can give a shock or you should not give a shock. If it says you have to give a shock, then it will get ready within few seconds.
Okay.
There will be a red color flashing light where it will flash.
Okay.
It will say that you can give a shock, but very important, it's a shock.
Yes.
So you have to ensure that the person who is giving CPR, the person around the victim is not touching the patient.
Yes.
Otherwise what happens?
They will also get shocked.
Then
Then we have to do CPR on them.
somebody else has to come. So to avoid that, you have to ensure that nobody is touching and then press the shocking button.
Okay.
Just one fraction of a second when you press it, it says shock delivered, start CPR.
Okay.
That means that the heart, which was having a flickering movement like this, when you give a shock, it has become a standstill. You have to reactivate it. That is the reason why you have to give again the CPR.
Okay.
So hope you have understood about AED.
Yes. So it is basically 4 steps. First
Yeah.
you switch on, then you attach the pads looking at the picture.
Yeah.
Then it will analyze the rhythm for you.
Very
and
good.
If shock is needed, it will advise shock. So there will be a red flashing button. You have to press it. Make sure nobody is touching the patient. And when shock is delivered, you immediately start CPR.
Superb.
Thank you. Okay. Now, so we are right now in a pandemic times.
Yeah, very sad.
So, and luckily we have started giving vaccinations to everybody.
Yeah.
So, a lot of time we see post-vaccine, a lot of people are developing fever. So, what can they do in this case?
Since you have already mentioned it's a pandemic and people have been vaccinated,
Yes.
we have seen a lot of people coming back with fever also.
Okay.
So the first and foremost step again here is to check for the COVID again,
Okay.
because you have taken vaccine, that doesn't mean that you will not get COVID. You are still, you can still get COVID.
Oh.
That is the reason.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Then what else can they do if there is fever, sir?
So they can take a paracetamol tablet, 650 mg or 500 mg, whatever is available, and then visit the nearest COVID care center or a fever clinic where they will check for the COVID.
Okay.
And if they are negative, then they will check for some other illnesses. Because now the season is flu season also. And also a lot of patients are coming back with dengue fevers.
Oh, okay.
So all fevers are not COVID. It can be something else also.
Yes. So basically, take care, take help.
Take help.
Okay. So to the most important question, are we still supposed to wear mask even now?
Yes, as I mentioned, you have only been protected, not the other person. We don't know.
Yeah.
And COVID is still there. So follow all the measures, wear the mask, keep the distance of 6 meters or as much as possible, and do your work. Wash hands regularly. Use the sanitizer whenever you're doing.
Okay. So, sir, that was my last question. Thank you for answering all the questions. I hope we answered most of them. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a nice day.